Hello, I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday. Well, I just came back from Pace's SubTo Mastermind, and I want to share a few of my top takeaways. This is going to be on one very specific subject, and I paid a whole lot of money to go. I feel very blessed that I was able to be there with 100 other awesome people. And the first day, Dean Graziosi spoke. Here's my top takeaway from what he spoke about. Yes, we'll get you out of Egypt, but no, we'll get you to the promised land. And we're all going to have hot seats. Like, each one of us was going to be put up on stage, and they were going to take 10 to 15 minutes to help us unpack and know exactly what our roadmap should be for the next 6 months. And in order to make the best use of that time, for it to be the most efficient use of the time, he said, before that, I want you to spend some time tonight. And he wrote on the board where you are now. He said, and I need you to answer this question with honesty. Where are you now in your business? And then he drew an arrow going up and another circle, and he said, and where do you want to be? This was important. He said, lead with your heart and have 3 to 5 items in that circle. Okay, and to kind of give us a pattern of how we need to work, what steps, what process we needed to go through to get to that where do we want to be. He said, he had a volunteer stand up, and he said, where do you want to be in 6 months? And the man gave him, as most people do, a dollar number. I want to be here in my business. I want to be generating this amount of income every month, okay, X number of dollars every month. And Dean looked at him and said, why is that important to you? And he said, because blah, 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 and he gave the answer. And he said, why is that important to you? And he hesitated, and he gave another answer, a little bit deeper, more heartfelt than the first answer. So he wanted to make X dollars of money, and that was to be a pattern to his daughters. And why was that important to him? Because finally he asked 7 layers of why, and this man was close to tears with his eyes watering, and he said, because my parents didn't give me that kind of pattern, and I had to fight and fight and fight to get there. And he said, that's your why. He's like, there are going to be obstacles along this trajectory from where you are here today and where you're going. There are going to be problems that arise. There are going to be things that come up. There are going to be major roadblocks. And just having a dollar figure is not going to be enough to carry you through all that. You need a heartfelt why, and the real reason of why you want to be where you want to be in 6 months. So that was really helpful. And where I wanted to be in 6 months, I wanted to be making a certain dollar figure, but I also wanted to be able to turn my phone off at a certain time, at certain times during the day, like an hour in the morning when my kids are getting ready to go to school, and spending time with them, making them breakfast and whatnot, which I haven't been doing. I've been working because I get up and I just work. And then also in the evening, afternoon, I'm going to turn it off when they get home, and just turn my computer and turn my phone off. And I realized with some introspection that there's a little button on the side of my phone, and I can mute my phone, or I can turn it off completely, and I don't need to wait to be able to do that. So I can implement that today. The dollar figure is important to me mainly because of 2 things. I want my dear husband to be able to choose whether or not he wants to take on clients and work, because there's a portion of Christ in him that needs to be released. And his working all these hours every day is not helping that portion get released. I want it to be released. So that's the first thing. And also, I want to be able to write a check to whomever I want to people and nonprofits and things that I support, without it being a major issue. And lastly, I want to be able to have the inward freedom to be able to turn things off and just spend time with my family and people I love without being worried about finances. All right. The last day of the event, well, the day after the event, a lot of us went and climbed up a mountain together, about 50 of the remaining people. And as I'm climbing up this mountain, I ask myself, why did I come all this way and pay so much money to basically have the same lesson repeated in October that my 20-year-old gave me in February, which was, just because something can make you money doesn't mean you need to be doing it. And so I have someone visiting here. Sorry, there was a brief interruption. We had a package arrive. Okay, so that's something my son told me when I bought another course, and basically it was about how to get free pallets or almost free and then resell them and make up to $1,000 a day. And I have no doubt that it would work, but I'm a serial course buyer. I'm always buying courses, and I go through them and I get all excited about them, and I just like, ooh, I can make money doing this, or I can make money doing that. And he's like, just because it can make you money doesn't mean you need to be doing it. And here I am at the end of the year now, and basically I'm having someone tell me, say no to the good so you can say yes to the great, right? And turn off every other business making thing and focus on this one thing. And in my hot seat, I became very clear about that one thing that I need to be doing. And so what I realized was I needed to come all this way and hear the same thing again, because one, I didn't really get the lesson impressed on me enough that I stopped all the other activities. But most importantly, I didn't know what my promised land was. I was not clear on what I really wanted to be doing and what I really wanted it to look like once I arrived there. So now I'm clear. My day is going to look a certain way. My bank account will look a certain way. My husband's time will look a certain way. I mean, I'm clear. I want to be able to go have lunch with my daughter and pick her up from school. And I want to take my sons to business conferences. And I want to I can see where I'm going to be 6 months from now. And to get there, I need to drop a lot of other activities I've been doing and just focus on certain activities. That clarity was very important. So that's why I was there. The second reason became very clear to me while I was on this hike. So we're hiking up a mountain in Arizona. Very little vegetation. Lots of cacti everywhere. And as I'm going up, I'm getting really tired, okay? I have not been working out for about 6 months, and I feel it. I feel the strain I'm putting on my body. And there's another woman who's maybe about 6-7 years older than me, and we're kind of starting to trail towards the back of the pack. And eventually, it's just like, I'm just looking at one step in front of me. I can do this. We're kind of encouraging each other as we go along. And I'm like, I don't know if I can go much further. And I look up and I see where the other group is. The rest of the group is all up there at the top of the ridge. And they're all looking down. I can see them drinking their water. They're taking pictures and selfies. I'm like, oh, we can get there. They still look like about this big to me, but like, at least I see where they are. I see where my goal is. I can get there. And as we're climbing, I'm getting closer. I can see more details. I'm like, yeah, we're going to make it. And then all of them stand up from where they were resting, and they keep going. And then I realized that was their resting spot. It's not the top. And it's just they veer to the left, and then they start winding around, and there's a higher point. And when I arrived and I see the path they took, I'm there with the other lady and then another woman who's like a couple that's there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just good here. I don't need to go on. And I realized second big realization. First, what my promised land is, and second, my promised land is not what a lot of other people's are. I maybe don't need to build a wholesale empire. I'm not trying to build a business with, 20 employees. I have a different goal, a different promised land, and that's okay. I don't need someone else's life goal does not need to be mine, and I don't need to beat myself up if I'm satisfied with might seem less dollars in my bank account or less whatever. I have a goal of I want to minister Christ. I want to be a light in every circumstance I'm in. That's not something that's easily definable and it's not easily measurable, but it's something that I know is happening in my heart of hearts. And I know when it's happening, right? I may not know who I'm a light to necessarily or how I am a light, but I know when I am enjoying Christ, and I know that when I'm bringing Him to others. So that's again where I want to be in 6 months. And I could be there now even. So it's another big realization I had is a lot of the things that I want in 6 months, I can have them now. Where I want my business to be in 6 months, I can now eliminate 80% of the activities I was doing and replace them with activities that will get me to that goal in 6 months or sooner. And I came back, I started all day Monday. I was just clearing. I got back at 1 in the morning on Monday. And after a few hours of sleep, I woke up and I was just getting things off my plate, turning off this marketing. I don't want those wholesale leads anymore. Turning that off, wrapping up these ends. There's a few people I'm still helping with their homes that are in foreclosure. I'm going to see those through. But I'm not going to do the renovations. I'm going to pass those on. I wasn't planning to do those as wholesales. I'm not quite sure what we'll do there, but I'm not going to let it occupy all my time. And I'm letting it occupy this much time while I work towards others. I will towards the main goal. It's going to get me to my promised land, right? And this is already too long, but I do want to put a plug in there for one of the tools I've been using that has helped me immensely. I get more done every day in 5 or 6 hours than I used to get in, like, seriously, a week. And it's something called focus blocks. And I'm going to put a link down there. So if you want, you can click on it and you can listen to it, because I can't do it justice by talking about it in 30 minutes to an hour. In like 2 or 3 minutes. But if you click down there, there's a presentation and it's well worth the listen. He will explain how it all works and everything. And yes, I'll get a little commission if you click through there and buy. Well, actually, I'll get a month free. I won't actually get a commission. But for someone who is as distractible as I am very much a visionary. I get shiny object syndrome, and sometimes I want to multitask and do 20 things at the same time. These focus blocks have been nothing short of life-changing for me. So my hat is off to them. They're helping me get to my promised land now that I know where my promised land is and I know what to focus on. You need to have that clear. And that's it. I hope this is helpful to someone. I hope it helps you gain some clarity in your own life so you can go and figure out what your promised land is and you can create the path to get there. What is your promised land? And whatever it is, it doesn't have to be what someone else's is. Just figure out what your promised land is and create a path to get there. You can do it.